What's up, everybody? Dr. Jeff, Rythmia Life Advancement Center. All right, so I'm the Chief Medical Officer here. I have a doctorate in psychology, master's in public health from UCLA. Go Bruins, UCLA. USC, get out. Just kidding. Today, the topic is psychological approach with plant medicine. So what I love about plant medicine is that it's really fast and effective. In the psychological approach, in the Western medical model, there's, the things that we usually see as psychologists in the US or wherever, Canada, Europe, wherever, is we see a lot of trauma. We see, PTS, post-traumatic stress. We see addiction. We see anxiety disorders, major depressive disorders. We see people that are going through divorces or separations. We have couples issues people are dealing with. We see people with life purpose sort of struggles, trying to figure out, what is the meaning of life for them. We got a lot of people with empty nest issues. Their kids are all grown and they're out now and they're in college and doing their thing, and they're kind of like trying to regroup. We see a lot of actors, entertainers who deal with a lot of weird stuff in Hollywood. Hollywood's a zoo for a reason. And that's a whole nother subject. We see creatives. People are trying to get to the next level of sort of advancement with their career and with the way they're thinking about developing things, whether it's art or technology, you name it. There's a lot of stuff. We see a lot of people with med histories. So at Rythmia, those are the types of people we see. We don't really see acute psychiatric people, and the reason is because the plant medicine isn't usually conducive for people that have like really severe mental health issues like schizophrenia. However, for the people that we see at Rythmia, all the things I just listed are very common. Depression, anxiety, and history of addiction. A lot of people came off their meds to do the plant medicine. And, what I love about plant medicine is that, like I mentioned, it's really fast and it helps you get really right to the core of what's going on. So what's in a therapeutic model, in a psychological model, the way that you're supposed to address stuff is you're supposed to build rapport with the client, build trust, help them do inner child work, help them kind of move down this path towards self-empowerment, give them some tools to navigate their life and try to understand who they are as people, process trauma, all that stuff's good, right? That's a really awesome approach. But the problem is it takes a really long time to do that. I had people in my practice that were there for years. And I remember this one patient, after two or 3 years, then she finally started to trust me. It's like, that's too long. It's too expensive. It takes too long. It's like, let's get to the core of it right away. Let's get right to the point. Do we really need to drag this out? Really? I used to tell my brand new patients on their initial intake, people that were just starting therapy with me in Los Angeles, I used to say, I'm going to give you 6 to 8 sessions to get this, sort of figured out. And then if we don't get right to it, we're not going to work together, because 3 to 6 months is about all this takes, for what we're trying to realize here. And if you're not able to kind of get this together by then we're not the right therapeutic relationship. And I'm going to refer you out, or you're going to have to just get this thing together. So I was on it with the people. And what I saw was that, once they heard that, they were like, okay, well, let's get to work, let's really get down to it. And the problem was these therapy sessions were 45 minutes, 50 minutes, once a week at best. And then they would leave and go back to their triggering environments and all the chaos that they had in their life. It just was not enough. It just wasn't enough. They're all on meds. They would self-medicate with drugs and alcohol. They were in and out of the psych unit, in and out of the hospital, in and out of the rehab, in and out of IOPs, which are intensive outpatient programs. It was just too much, it was just taking way too long. It was just draining for them, And, a psychologist is somebody that wants to help the people they work with. But the psychologist is constrained by their license and by sort of the protocols that exist to help the people they're working with. And, there's not a lot that can go on. There's a couple things that can happen with processing and saying out loud certain stuff. And that's why, that's why I said 6 to 8 sessions, we better get to the bottom of it, basically, So what I love about plant medicine, and particularly what we're doing here at Rythmia, is this gets right to it super quick. And some people are not used to that. They're thinking to themselves, like, well, I'm in a lot of pain. I'm I'm sad. I feel really upset. Like I'm in beautiful Costa Rica. I'm at this wonderful resort, and I have all this medical staff around me and all these shamanic healers and energy workers, and I have all these people. So like, why aren't I feeling good? Why? Well, let's see what your history is. Oh, you've been using drugs and alcohol for 20 years. You have a history of 15 years of abusive trauma. You have a relationship you're in that is not working. You have a job that you hate, and you're being abused in that job. So there's a lot of stuff that people bring to the table. And what happens at Rythmia is people get sad, and they get angry, and they get hungry, and they're tired, and they're upset, and they're frustrated. And I think to myself, good, because that's exactly where the medicine wants you. Because if your ego is blocking this process, and if you're well rested and you're like super, you're not hungry and you're ready to fight, you're going to resist the medicine. So what happens is people get kind of like the medicine breaks them down and gets them to a place where their soul and their energy of who they really are as people can come out, and the medicine can start to work with you. And so the psychological approach with plant medicine at Rythmia is just very specific to you. It's really helping who you are as an individual. It's getting to the bottom of like what's upsetting you, and it's doing it in a very quick manner. Do you really think you need to be in therapy 10 years? Do you need to be in therapy for 5 years? Do you need to be going to 12-step groups for the rest of your life? Do you need to, some people do. But I'm a fan of getting yourself healed and moving on in a healthy way where you're empowered. And self-empowerment is key. You have to have the confidence in yourself. Sometimes you use cognitive behavioral strategies, which are, the way I think about something is affecting my mood. And an event that occurs causes me to think about something, and then I have a certain mood about that. Well, there's a way to adjust that quickly with plant medicine. You don't have to go through the whole CBT sort of framework. You can just get right to it quickly. Now, I could talk to people for forever. I had patients I had for 5+ years. I could tell them all kinds of things and advice and suggestions and all this kind of stuff. But the bottom line was, if they didn't feel it themselves, it was all irrelevant. It didn't matter. And so the beauty of plant medicine is you connect to yourself. You feel it for yourself. That's what happened for me. I had heard for years, I'd even thought about it myself. Well, the reason I'm the tough guy, the reason why I'm disconnected from my family and my friends and my relationships is because I had to grow up in a tough way, and I had to survive and all this kind of stuff. And I knew it, and all the therapists I met with said it. And even my family told me, and I understood it, and it all made sense. I'm not stupid, so I got it. But the bottom line was, I didn't feel it. I didn't really connect with it emotionally. On plant medicine, my first night ever doing it, I understood this because I felt it, and I resolved it. And I helped process these emotions that I've been holding on to for so long, and they went out. They were gone. And I no longer was burdened by a historical emotional burden that was traumatic and upsetting. It was holding me back from being who I really was as a person. So, there's all these different approaches to kind of like get healthy and be plugged into yourself. There's all these different things that exist. You guys that are from the Western medical model, you have meds, you have therapy, you have rehabs, you have all this stuff. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. If you need to do that to kind of like get focused a bit, then cool, that's okay. Use those tools, but then use the plant medicine to really connect with yourself and really get plugged into yourself as a person. That's how this works. That's what's going on. That's why Rythmia is blowing up. Rythmia, you know, when we started this place, we had about 10 guests coming in the week. First week we were here, maybe 8. And then it went to 20, then went to 30. Now we're up to 70 and 80 and sometimes over 90. And we're selling out constantly. And the reason is because people want healing. This opiate crisis is all over the world. It's absurd. You know, and the reason why opiates take a hold of people is because people are not happy. And it gives them a break. It numbs them to their emotional distress. And so plant medicine is such a healing modality to give people like a purpose for like why they're living and what they need to do to be happy with their family, with their friends, and to be plugged into themselves. So the beauty of what we're doing down here in Costa Rica, you know, the beauty of it is that I get to see every week so many people shift and change, and their face changes, their whole vibe changes. They become different people than what they're used to. They actually become their authentic self. And this is such a good thing, because if you're not authentic with who you are as an individual, you can't have success, and you can't move forward in life in a way that's happy and grounded. So what I recommend for people is, you know, if you've been to therapists, you've been taking meds, you know, you've been doing, you know, all this different stuff. Okay, cool. You've done some work on yourself. Good. Thank you. Excellent. Okay, now come to Rythmia and get this knocked out so it doesn't hover above you and manipulate the way you feel about yourself and manipulate the way you think about other people and sort of dictate how you make decisions. That's not how you're supposed to be living. You're supposed to be living from a place of authenticity, truth. When Jerry did the plant medicine, his first journey said, you know, what is the key to life? It's truth. It's truth, and authenticity. That's what life's about, because from that place, we can operate in a way that's in congruence with all the vibes around us to help people feel happy and ourselves and to plug in and to heal. You know, there's a lot going on right now in the world. There's tons of madness, all this insanity. You know what's going on? The reasons, because people aren't plugged into themselves. They're dissociated, and they're dissociated from their physical self and their emotional or spiritual self. They're unplugged. And that's why there's anger, and bitterness, and wars, and hurt feelings, and upsetness. And what Jerry says in his class on Monday is you become unbotherable when you do plant medicine, because you realize there's a bigger picture, and there's things that are bigger than you, and that we all are plugged into what this is. And you can actually feel who you are and the world. And this is a beautiful thing, because that's how things change. So tonight we got about 75 people up there at the plant medicine ceremony, the first one of the night. About 90% of them have never done this before. They're all nervous, but they're all excited. We have a ton of staff, super healthy, safe environment. Come to Rythmia and do this, because if you do it, you won't need your therapist. You won't need your meds. You won't need your psychiatrist. You won't need to do all this stuff that's like, it's just keeping you in a cycle. It's just like this dysfunctional cycle. It's ongoing over and over and over and over. Right? That's what's happening. So come down to Rythmia. We have doctors that come as patients. We have therapists that come. We have a lot of nurses come, because nurses are like the bomb, right? I love nurses. Nurses are like the old school doctor. They actually get to do patient care. Thank God, right? Because heaven forbid a doctor does patient care, right? What a doctor has to do, unfortunately, is document things and chart things and worry about liability and lawsuits. Okay, but what a nurse gets to do is actually work with the patient, hands-on treatment and care for the patient. It's amazing. But pretty soon, I'm sure the nurses will get pushed into the doctor role, and they won't be able to do that anymore. And who's going to come next? I don't know, right? Who knows? But the Western model often tries to keep people sick, because it keeps the money going, it keeps the policy going, it keeps the government's, you know, funding streams going. It's just crazy. We all know it's crazy. Now, if you're in that system, if you're a doctor, a nurse, a therapist, a marriage and family therapist, counselor, spiritual, you know, you guys get down here, check this out, because you're already in the zone of helping. Get down here and check this out, because this will be a tool for you to use with your patients. It'll be a tool. And if you guys are the patients, get down here and heal. And you don't need all this crazy stuff anymore. I'm telling you, I used to work with people all the time, thousands of patients in Los Angeles, you know, thousands, all different things going on. like I mentioned, trauma, addiction, anxiety, depression, divorce, separation, life purpose issues, people aging, figuring out their life, all kinds of crazy stuff happening for people. And that's the beauty of life, because things are evolving, things are changing. Let's get you focused. Let's get you back on track. Come to Rythmia. Let's do an approach with you that's unique to you. You're a unique individual. You're not like anybody else on the planet. You're very special individual, and you require a certain set of circumstances that will help you get healing. That's why we're here. This is the easiest psychological job I've ever had, because when people come to me in my office, which is every day, I say, get up there tonight and do the plant medicine. Here's some intentions you can use. Here's a way to look at it to help you be successful. Here's a way that you can integrate it back into your life and how to stay positive and focused as you move forward. Basic. That's easy. When I didn't know about plant medicine, working with people in LA, they would ask me, what do I do? I'd say, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not you. Let's try all these XYZ things, these books I read, these supervisions I received. Let's try all this different stuff. Let's put you in a program. Let's do, none of that works. None of that works long term. Plant medicine plugs you into who you are as an individual. It gets you back to you. Gets your soul back to you. Let's do it. Let's heal your heart. Let's see who you've become. Let's plug you back into yourself. That's what's going on. Pura vida. Dr. Jeff. See you guys next Monday. Rythmia Nation. Power to the people. Pura vida.